Most people walk through life carrying invisible chains: fear of failure, fear of judgment, fear of discomfort, fear of standing alone. These fears quietly weaken them, day after day, until weakness becomes their identity. But it doesn't have to stay that way. There are ruthless Stoic rules, ancient truths sharpened by time, that can eliminate weakness forever if you're willing to apply them. Not someday, not later, right now. Because the longer you wait, the stronger your excuses become. And today, we cut them from your life. You felt this before. You want discipline, but your mind fights back. You want strength, but your habits betray you. You want to rise, but your comfort zone pulls you down like gravity. This is the silent war everyone faces, and only the people who learn these ruthless Stoic rules ever win it. Because Stoicism for life isn't about being emotionless, it's about being unbreakable. A warrior in the mind, a person who refuses to bow to weakness, a person who decides that who they are becoming matters more than what they feel in the moment. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." That sentence is the foundation of the entire Stoic mindset. It's not poetic, it's tactical, it's a weapon, and when you accept it deeply, weakness loses its control over you. The modern world teaches you to blame, complain, and wait. Stoic philosophy teaches you to act, to choose, to take responsibility for every thought that enters your mind. And this is the beginning of mental toughness Stoicism, the ability to build an inner world that no external chaos can destroy. When you hear this idea, something inside you shifts. You realize your suffering never came from the world. It came from your reaction to it. Your frustration came not from an obstacle, but from your belief that the obstacle shouldn't be there. Your anger came not from someone's words, but from your belief that those words determined your worth. The Stoics say, weakness dies the moment responsibility is born. Modern psychology agrees. Neuroscience shows that the prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain responsible for self-control, gets stronger every time you resist impulse and choose discipline. That's why self-discipline motivation feels impossible at first, but becomes natural over time. You're literally rebuilding your brain, like a blacksmith hammering steel. But here's the problem. People want to be strong without being tested. They want unshakable discipline without discomfort. They want brutal Stoic lessons without painful implementation. But that's not how strength is forged. Weakness is eliminated only when you face the exact things that trigger it. The Stoics didn't sit in a quiet room thinking about strength. They lived it. They practiced it. They trained it daily, and you can too. The first ruthless rule is to stop negotiating with your mind. Every time you say 5 more minutes, your mind learns that it can manipulate you. Every time you delay action, you reinforce weakness. Modern behavioral science calls this micro-procrastination. It destroys momentum and conditions your brain to seek comfort. But when you act immediately, without debate, you rewire your neural pathways. Seneca said, "While we waste our time hesitating, life is slipping away." Acting without delay is not a personality trait. It's a Stoic warrior mindset. And every time you practice it, your strength expands. Once you stop negotiating with your mind, something powerful happens. You develop a kind of inner silence. The noise of doubt becomes quieter. The fear of failure becomes smaller. Modern psychology calls it cognitive quieting. Stoics called it mastery over impressions. It's the mental space where you choose your response instead of reacting automatically. This skill alone can eliminate most forms of weakness, because 90% of people ruin their own lives through reflex reactions. You won't. Another ruthless Stoic rule is to voluntarily do difficult things, not because they are fun, not because you feel motivated, but because difficulty is the only teacher that builds real resilience. Cold showers, early mornings, long work sessions, uncomfortable conversations, these aren't trends. They are practical Stoic tools. They train your nervous system to stop panicking when life gets hard. Think about it. If you intentionally expose yourself to controlled stress, uncontrolled stress can't break you. Neuroscience calls this stress inoculation. The Stoics practiced it 2,000 years before science confirmed it. Epictetus taught, difficulties show a person who they are. Modern science says the same. People who choose voluntary discomfort build thicker neural insulation in pathways responsible for emotional control. That's why these ruthless Stoic rules are not philosophy. They're biology. You eliminate weakness by teaching your brain that discomfort is not a threat. But knowing these truths isn't enough. You need practical steps, daily actions, to lock this Stoic mindset into your life. Start by mastering the discipline of the first minute. The moment you wake up, or the moment you decide to begin something, execute instantly. Not later, not after scrolling, not after thinking. Action within the first minute builds identity-based discipline. Neuroscience shows that the faster you act after intention, the stronger your self-command becomes. This is how you become mentally strong without relying on motivation. Next, remove one comfort from your day. Just one. It could be sugar, social media scrolling, unnecessary resting, overthinking before decisions, or seeking external validation. Each time you remove a comfort, your inner strength expands. Stoic philosophy says, comfort softens the mind, but controlled discomfort hardens it like tempered steel. Marcus Aurelius' wisdom teaches that a human being grows the moment they stop avoiding what they know they must do. Modern Stoic practices help you implement this through habit cycling, replacing a weakness-triggering habit with a strength-building one. Another step is to practice stillness, not meditation in a fancy way. Simple stillness. Sit with your thoughts without distraction. Observe your impulses without acting on them. This develops emotional endurance. Studies show that people who practice stillness increase gray matter density in regions linked to impulse control. The Stoics use stillness to separate impulse from action, emotion from decision, desire from duty, and you can do the same. Stillness doesn't make you soft, it makes you unshakable. One more tactic is to confront your internal dialogue. Weakness often comes from the voice inside you that says, "You're tired, you're not enough, you can't do it." Stoic rules teach that you don't have to obey that voice. You can replace it with a stronger one. Tell yourself, "This is the moment. This is who I am. I do what must be done." When you consciously direct your self-talk, your brain rewires through neuroplasticity. Weakness loses its grip. Strength takes its place. The next ruthless Stoic rule is this: stop expecting life to be easy. Weak people constantly search for the path of least resistance. Strong people choose the path that builds character. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." In modern terms, This means obstacles are not interruptions to your progress. They are your progress. Every difficult person, every delay, every frustration, every fear is a training ground. Neuroscience calls this reframing. It changes the emotional meaning of your experiences. And the moment you reframe difficulty, you eliminate the weakness that once controlled your reactions. Another rule is to detach from outcomes and attach to the process. Stoic philosophy teaches that your effort is within your control, but results are not. Modern cognitive science confirms this. People who focus on the process produce better results, experience less stress, and avoid burnout. Detachment eliminates anxiety and builds unstoppable confidence. When you stop seeking approval, your true power appears. When you stop needing praise, your discipline sharpens. The Stoic warrior mindset is built on this truth. You control everything that matters. One of the most important rules is to live by standards, not feelings. Feelings change every minute. Standards remain stable. When you set non-negotiable standards, work for 1 hour, train for 20 minutes, stay calm under pressure, finish what you start, your identity shifts. Neuroscience calls this identity-based conditioning. Your actions build your character. Your character builds your destiny. Weakness disappears because you only allow behaviors that align with strength. Now let's go deeper. Weakness is not a lack of ability. It's a lack of direction, a lack of clarity, a lack of self-respect. When you don't know what you stand for, you fall for everything. Stoicism gives you a compass, a code, a set of rules that shape your life. And once you start living by them, you realize something. The world didn't make you weak. You made yourself weak by avoiding the rules that make a person strong. But it's never too late. Strength is not something you're born with. It's something you train. And these ruthless Stoic rules are the training. Another massive rule: accept radical responsibility. Everything in your life is either something you created or something you allowed. This is not blame, it's power. Modern psychology calls this internal locus of control. It is the #1 predictor of a person's long-term success, resilience, and mental strength. When you take responsibility for your thoughts, your habits, your standards, your reactions, your future, weakness evaporates. You become the kind of person who doesn't wait for life to change. You build the life you want. Now let's talk about the mind. The human mind is a battlefield, but most people don't fight. They surrender. They let the world dictate their thoughts. They let emotions drive their decisions. They let fear decide their future. The Stoic mindset flips this. You become the commander of your inner world. You choose what thoughts enter. You choose what emotions stay. You choose what actions follow. And the more you practice this, the more your brain adapts. Over time, you become mentally untouchable. Another ruthless Stoic rule: embrace voluntary solitude. Not loneliness, solitude. Time alone to sharpen your thoughts. Time alone to understand your weaknesses. Time alone to build mental armor. Modern psychology shows that people who regularly spend time in solitude have stronger emotional regulation and higher self-awareness. Marcus Aurelius often wrote to himself in his journal. He wasn't lonely. He was reflecting, strengthened, sharpening his inner blade. You can do the same. And here's another truth. Weakness grows in distraction. Strength grows in focus. Modern science calls this attention training. The Stoics practiced it by directing their attention only to what mattered. If you can master your attention, you can master your life. Each time you resist the urge to check your phone, scroll, procrastinate, or escape reality, you build a thicker layer of mental armor. You eliminate the habits that weaken you. You want to destroy weakness? You want unshakable discipline? Then learn this rule deeply. Your feelings are not your commands. This is one of the most ruthless and liberating Stoic rules ever written. If you move only when you feel like it, you will never rise. The strongest version of you is locked behind tasks you don't want to do. But when you do them anyway, you break the prison of feelings. Modern psychology calls this emotion-action separation. It's the foundation of extraordinary success. There is another powerful strategy. Reduce your life to essentials. Remove unnecessary drama. Remove weak people. Remove weak habits. Remove weak thinking. Simplicity increases power. Complexity increases chaos. The Stoics lived simply not to be minimalists, but to remove anything that weakened the mind. Today's equivalent is removing digital noise, meaningless arguments, emotional reactions, and addictive habits. This strengthens your identity more than you can imagine. Now we go to the deepest truth. Weakness comes from attachment to comfort, but strength comes from attachment to purpose. When you have a mission, something bigger than your fear, your discipline becomes natural. Your actions become automatic. Your decisions become sharp. When you're guided by purpose, weakness disappears because you no longer live for the moment. You live for your destiny. And now, after understanding ruthless Stoic rules, harsh Stoic truths, mental toughness Stoicism, unshakable discipline, and brutal Stoic lessons, you must apply them. Philosophy without action is useless. Knowledge without practice is weakness pretending to be wisdom. So here are your final practical steps. First, choose one weakness you will eliminate today, not tomorrow, today. Second, choose one rule you will turn into a daily habit. Third, write down your standards, your personal Stoic code, and follow it without negotiation. Your transformation begins the moment you take control of your thoughts, your habits, your discipline, and your responses. These rules are not theories, they are weapons. Use them to destroy weakness. Use them to build strength. Use them to create the kind of self-respect that can never be taken from you. You already know which of these ruthless Stoic rules you need the most. So the question is simple. Which one will you start practicing today?